When did you start doing drugs?
I started smoking pot when I was 13. Smoked cigarettes when I was 12. Pot when I was 13. Started drinking when I was 14. Um, Drank until, I don't know, heavy drinker in my 20s. But I did speed, black beauties when I was 17. When I turned 18, I did black beauties. This is all speed. Black beauties, yellow jackets, pink hearts, white crosses, green dragons. I did Valium, Quaaludes. Didn't like those. They were boring. I did blotter acid when I was 18, twice. I did shrooms. Basically smoked pot. When I was in school at Hanover, when I was 17, I think it was 16 or 17, they had this thing called out and they were calling it King Tut. I tried that once, just a little bit of it on my finger. And I flew for 3 days and I said, forget that. I never snorted anything, never did heroin or anything like that. That was the last time I did any hard drugs. I smoked pot until I was off and on until I was almost 25. And then I quit. I haven't smoked any since. When I was 18, I could drink a 12-pack or a case of beer and a bottle of liquor. And I woke up sober. And my normal weekends were go to the bar on Thursday night, and Friday night I'd drink a case of beer and drink a fifth of liquor. Saturday night I'd drink a case of beer and drink a fifth of liquor. Sunday morning I'd get up and go to the bridge tender and drink. Sunday night I could drink a case of beer. Can't buy liquor on Sundays back then. And this was a Monday nights, go to one bar. Tuesday night, go to another bar. Wednesday night, go to another bar or party. And this is how my weeks went. I quit drinking in 1999. And I quit for over 10 years. Because I am an alcoholic. I drug abuse. One morning when I was doing drugs, I just looked in the mirror and I said, it ain't worth it. And I quit. And I haven't touched stuff, haven't had cravings for it, nothing. Since I quit drinking, I've actually had 4 drinks since then. Since 1999. When I first quit. I've had actually 4 drinks. I've been sober for 10 years, and I had a lobsterita at Red Lobster. And then I had a small glass of wine at my dad's house. Then I had a glass of wine here. 2 years ago. And then last year I had a margarita. And that's the last time I've drank. I don't need a drink. It's not worth it. It just wastes money. I quit on my own. I've never been to AA or anything like that. My first husband, I could outdrink him. Most of the guys I knew, I could outdrink. And I never had a hangover. My father's an alcoholic. My first husband was an alcoholic. My second husband is an alcoholic. I'm an alcoholic. My grandfather died because he was an alcoholic. And my brother is an alcoholic. And my sister doesn't agree with me, but she's an alcoholic. And she kind of has quit drinking. But when she was younger, when she first started drinking, she was really bad. So it runs in the family. And, I don't know, you want to know anything else?
Why'd you start doing drugs?
It was a different time then than what it is now. It was a time when, uh, actually we were older than what they are now, what kids are now. When we were 13, it was a different world. And you hung around. I mean, if you dated a cowboy and he chewed, you chewed. If you dated somebody else, they smoked, you smoked. If you went with a guy, he did drugs, you did drugs. Just the time. And my brother did drugs, and we used to go out and get high. Um, he doesn't do that anymore. But it just was a time, it was a sign of the times. And that's just how we were. We were an older group. I mean, nowadays, the kids nowadays, they think they're big and bad. They ain't nothing compared to what we were, where we lived. First week at school, in my junior high, there was a gang fight. And this is 100 years ago. But, it was just what everybody else was doing. We went along with the crowd. And it was dumb. It was really dumb.
Would you do it again if you had the chance?
If I had a chance to do it all over again, yeah, I would do it differently. I wouldn't do drugs. Pot bored me. Speed just kept me up. I mean, yeah, I laugh about acid and think, oh boy, it was a trip. And it was. You know, it was different. It's hallucinogenic. You see things that aren't there. Mushrooms were just way out there. And no, I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't drink either. Uh, I don't know about smoking. I can't really say either way on smoking. Yeah, am I addicted? Yeah. But I weigh more when I smoke than when I don't smoke, so. And it's a drug.
What do you think about the kids nowadays that do drugs?
I think they're full of shit. They shouldn't do it. There's more information now than there was when I was growing up. You figure in 1978 I was 15 years old. And it was a different world back then. I was born in the 60s with the hippies and everything else and the free love. And nowadays there is so much information. And there are so many different kind of drugs that are more dangerous than sniffing glue. And I mean, there's more diseases now out there that you can contract a disease from doing drugs, sharing needles, or uh, getting stoned and sleeping with somebody you don't know, getting so messed up that you don't know, and you end up dead because you end up with a disease that literally kills you. And my advice to kids now, if you do drugs, you're stupid. Read the brochures about it. Read everything. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. And I'm telling you, there's more information now than there was back in 1978 or 1981. There was not the diseases back then that there are now. Diseases we caught or we could catch from STDs didn't kill you. They do now. And if you do drugs and you get wired, you're up for to be raped, to end up with a disease, end up in jail, uh, end up dead from a car accident. I mean, there are so many more things that can kill you now that than they were back then. I mean, we had PCP that kill you, make you go blind. But you didn't get raped on it, or we didn't worry about that. We stuck to the normal drugs, the pot or the speed, because we were poor. Go out, didn't have enough money, we'd go out and drink wine. It's a cheap drunk. But hell, you could buy 10 bottles of wine for $10. I mean, big bottles. It was a cheap drunk. Try drinking Mad Dog. Don't try to drink Mad Dog. That's a nasty drug. Same with Thunderbird and those other ones. Just bad choices. But there's too much information out there for kids to get on drugs. And they shouldn't do it. My sister died on drugs. My stepsister Leah is dead because she couldn't leave the drugs alone. And it ended up she had a high school she graduated from high school. She had a high school diploma. She was going to go to college. My nephew was born with cocaine in his system because she could not get off the drugs. And now she's dead. And you can't come back from dead. It's not worth it. I mean, to lose somebody from drinking. My grandfather died a nasty death because he was an alcoholic. He had ulcers and he bled to death. They said that the room that he was in, from him spitting up blood, the walls were covered in blood because it just spewed all over the place. And he died when my mother was 12 years old because he hemorrhaged from bleeding ulcers and drinking. So my mother was out of dad. I'm without a stepsister because she couldn't leave the drugs alone. She had to have her drugs. And she went to prison, and when she got out, she got drugs again. She ended up being a prostitute. If it's not worth it. And now she's dead. I mean, she said when she was in prison, they did drug tests, but they know when they were coming. But hell, you could get drugs in jail. And look at her life. Oh, you can't. She's dead. Sorry. So don't do drugs. Want to know anything else?
No, I think that's good. Thank you.